Hello and welcome to a demonstration of my paper annotator. I'm demonstrating this. This is a Tsugi tool. It can be run on any Tsugi server. You can play with it on my free hosted instance of Tsugi called tsugicloud.com, tsugicloud.org. And you have to go down and take a look at the document annotator. And so we can test it. You don't even have to log in to test it. It's got a set of things where we can move back and forth between the instructor and student. It's got we can see a student view and an instructor view, and we just click back and forth. And so it's really easy to demonstrate this. So the idea is that you've assigned a paper to a series of students, and so the student has to enter their paper. This uses the CK Editor 5. So I will paste some stuff from Word, and it gets some of the formatting from Word. And so CK Editor 5 is the latest and most modern of these. This is free open source software. And then I can save my paper. And so here we have the paper, the student's paper. And so now I'm going to switch to being a teacher, Jane instructor. And the teacher could do their submission, but really I'm going to show looking at the student's data. I'm going to take a look at Sue's paper. There's no annotations. I can lock it so the students can't edit it anymore. I can give a student, this is so cool. Put that in. Well, so I'll update that. And let's take a look at the submission. And so now we're looking at Jane's submission. And so I can highlight something and I can say, this is my fave clause. Save. Yay for reliability. Issues are important. Save. Now, you can hover over these things and you can edit them. This is my most favorite clause. And save them. You can delete them. So now we've got these things, and so I'll go back as the instructor. I could lock it. I can show you the lock in a second. I can throw away the annotations, and I've already sent the student a note. So let's go back and see what happens for the student. We got two annotations, and the student can hover. Now, at this point, the student can edit them too. The student can say, thanks, right? And so this is kind of like a Google Doc where you can, I didn't make it so that I intended for this to be something interactive and not something that the teacher, that was only written by the teacher. I thought that maybe you might go back and forth. The note, of course, came from the teacher. And so that's basically how it works. If I go back and I look at Jane instructor, we've got a few more things that we can do. Like we can take a look at, we can give her 100% or 95%. We can lock the submission, right? And change the note a little bit. Thanks so much. Update. And away you go. And so now if we go back and become Sue, you will see that it's locked and I can't edit it. I can still edit these things. I don't know. And this changed. And away you go. So I will just point out that this uses some technology from a project called annotator.js and the CK Editor 5.0. So let's see. The instructor could, for example, then decide, oh, you want it to be unlocked, so I will unlock. I unlocked your entry, so you can revise. So then let's go back to see Sue. It's editable. Awesome. And save it. And you'll notice that the software is pretty smart about finding with slight modifications. If I edited these areas it might lose track of some of these annotations, but I added it up here and it didn't lose track of it. And that's that annotator.js software. I didn't write it. I think it's pretty awesome. So, so then I guess about the only other thing to show you is to go into the instructor mode, take a look at Sue Student, and I can reset the annotations. Are you sure? Yes, I want to reset the annotations. Doop. And now if I go back to Sue, you will see that the annotations are gone. Right, and so you got to figure out what you want to do. And so I think this is a nice and useful tool. I actually think it's one of the best Tsugi tools I've written. I wrote it not for myself. I wrote it for Kristen, even though Kristen wants more than just this. I started out by building just this tool with CK Editor because I thought there's a use for this, right, for a writing class. But I'm still working on the thing that Kristen wants. And I'll give you a little preview in a second. So if you want to use this, you can play with it on Tsugi Cloud, go into the App Store. You can just play with it. What I just did not require a login, but in the App Store, you can, oh, I'm an admin. Oh, I'm not logged in. If you log in, then you can actually apply for a key, and you can use this in your Sakai or your Canvas or whatever. So that's free hosting. If you're on the U of M campus, I've got a special place that we've got plugged into Canvas at the University of Michigan, so that you're not really using this is my little company, and so we can put this in, and this is a sneak preview of the PDF annotator, because this is what Kristen really wants, and so this requires the use of a service that converts PDF to HTML. And then I have the same kind of annotation. So I expect that the PDF annotator will be done in less than a week. What you see is actually working. It's just not as pretty as I would like it. So I got to clean up some of the details. It doesn't have any of the grading yet. The way my document annotator is kind of ready to use at this point. You might complain about features in the document editor, but away you go. So if you are not at the University of Michigan, or if you have your own Tsugi server, like Awesome Dayton, they could put this in and then you could just start using it because it's free and open source. Or you could use Tsugi Cloud. Or if you're at the University of Michigan, you can use the Learning App Store that we have. Okay, so I hope this has been interesting and helpful. Cheers.